Hello, neighbors. This is Jeff and Stacy from Sandy, Utah, owners at the Aulani Resort on Oahu, and you're listening to My DVC Points.
Parents and the children could have fun together.
Please board quickly and safely. Our monorail will be departing momentarily.
Welcome to the My DVC Points podcast. Join the conversation as DVC members share their stories, personal preferences, and magical memories. Your reservation is confirmed, your fast passes are booked. Pull up on the yellow strap because our journey into the magic of membership is about to begin.
To infinity and beyond.
Now, here's your host and curator of magical stories, Chad Pennycuff.
In today's show, we're talking about stretching your budget just a little bit further with gift cards and or how you can pay your monthly dues with a credit card. I'd like to welcome a really good friend to the show, Caleb Allison, who's also one of our phenomenal Facebook moderators. Caleb, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing great, Chad. How are you doing tonight?
I can't complain, man. I have invited you to the show because you were kind of my mentor when it comes to the gift card deals and wheeling and dealing and kind of like squeezing every little bit of juice you can out of that lemon when it comes to paying your dues and doing it on a monthly basis. Because up until we started talking about this, my strategy was always to just buy discounted gift cards and prepay my dues so that when December rolls around and the statement comes out, I have very little money left. And then I pay them all off within the next month. And I kind of start the year with prepaid dues and it's gone. But then I started talking with you and looking at your strategy and you figured out how to do monthly payments and gift cards. So let's talk about that, Caleb.
Yeah, absolutely. It's nice to be able to just kind of give back to the community. And, since you're part of the community too, it's, giving right back to you. So happy to share. So whenever I first started getting my dues statements, I had literally the very first time that I had to pay, I had just gotten off of a trip and for Christmas time. And at that point, I wasn't even an annual pass holder. And so I had all this money kind of flying out of my pocketbook. And I was trying to figure out how can I make it where I don't have to have that big, huge chunk of payment for the dues. That's whenever I started looking into the monthly payment program that they had. So if anybody listening is unfamiliar, you can pay with a credit card, but when you pay with a credit card, you have to pay the entire balance of your dues.
Yeah, it's like one shot, right? You're going to pay the whole balance in full and boom, you done, right? And then they'll take the credit card. You can get your reward points, which I'm a huge fan of and that, but man, my dues are like almost $5,000 these days. Like it's up there, buddy. 500 and some odd points. And yeah, it's steep.
Right. If you are doing anything with credit card points, the only way that's even worth it is making sure that you pay off the entire balance, when you get your statement. So if you don't have $5,000 in the bank for the next month, like in my case, where I was kind of just worrying a little bit about being a little bit tight with our funds at the bank because, Valentine's was coming up in February. My wife's birthday's in February. And we were actually taking another trip over that February President's Day weekend. So I was just kind of figuring out how to budget everything. And so, yeah, that's whenever I came in and I said, okay, well, there's this monthly payment option. At first, I looked at it and I didn't really like it because, while I wasn't really heavy into all the reward points with credit cards, I still wanted to be able to get some kind of rewards, whether that was even the 1%, give me a bone back for it.
Give me a little something here, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So because the monthly payments, when you set it up with DVC, it is a bank draft. And, I don't know a lot of banks that if you just take money out, it's giving you money back.
Yeah, that don't happen.
I had looked at the strategy of paying for my dues with gift cards and, but it was a similar problem. I didn't have enough cash flow at the time to be able to buy all the gift cards, and when we're talking about gift cards, whether you're paying with a gift card or paying bank draft, it wouldn't matter if your dollar was, or one Disney dollar was one real dollar, but we were trying to make sure that we were doing it with some gift cards that were discounted.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. I need some reward points, and then I need to buy discounted gift cards all at the same time. It's a stacking effect, right? It's like I want to buy my gift cards at 90 cents on the dollar, like I can do through Myers all the time. And I know other grocery stores across the US will do that. I've heard of chains in Oklahoma, Nebraska, all the way out to Philadelphia. Various different grocery stores will run this promotion where you buy a $500 gift card, you get $50 in free groceries, or you get gas points and you can use it for $1 off a gallon. So you're coming out okay with that.
Or it's just something simple like, the Target Red card is 5% off. So, you're getting your $25 off of a 500 card, or Sam's Club has discounted gift cards that you can get, anything that we can get that's going to, kind of save a little bit of money for us so that we can still go spend it on the mouse,
Oh yeah. Yeah. I got limited money and I want more mouse for my money. That's the whole point of all of this. Right. And so, but then you figured out a couple of strategies here. The first one has to do with you can take all of your gift cards at the beginning of the year, pay down the dues, and then tell it to come back in and say, hey, stretch this out in through monthly payments. And so if you say in my case, I owe $5,000 in dues, I come up and I can go $1,400 in gift card right out of the gate. So that means I owe $3,600.
Right.
So in that case, they would do what? Charge me $300 a month coming out of my auto draft?
Yeah. So if you came in before you set up any kind of monthly payments, if you came in and said, hey, I'm going to pay down my dues balance, it will start with whatever that is. And, we're using that nice round number, 5,000. And so you paid it down and you get it to 3,600. If at that point is when you actually set up the monthly bank draft, then from that point, it's just going to divide the dues by 12. And it will be on the 15th of every month that it's going to draft whatever that amount might be. So with the 3,600, that's going to be $300 every month. It's going to draft starting on February 15th is when it would do that draft. That's one strategy. In that case, it would be that you're wanting a low monthly payment that you have to put out, and you've already stockpiled some gift cards, or maybe Christmas, people gave you gift cards, and so you're just kind of throwing them on there or something like that. And so that's one strategy to come into it. Now, the other strategy is not so much that you want to lower the payment, it's just that you want all of it to be one set amount the whole time. And that's actually what I do. That I know that, roundabout our dues go up, but we have a pretty good understanding of what it's going to be. And so you set it up before January 15th, and it's going to divide everything by 12. And then you come in and you put the gift card down. Now, in both strategies, if your payment is $300 a month, when you come in and you pay that $300, and it would have drafted on February 15th, if you pay $300, it will not draft it from your bank. And once you've set it up that you need to draft, as long as you make a gift card payment for the amount that it would draft or greater, then it will not draft it.
That's key right there, right? Is if you're going to set it up on monthly, but you're going to pay with a gift card, just stay ahead of that ACH draft, and then you can avoid the ACH draft.
Right.
And what you can do is then go use your credit card to buy a gift card, log on, make the payment with the gift card, and stay ahead of that auto draft.
Right. Now, even if you are buying gift cards that are dollar for dollar, that you're not getting any kind of discount, at least if you're using any kind of credit card, you're at least getting the rewards from the credit card when you buy the gift card. So it gives you a little something back even without having a discounted gift card. But of course, we want to stack all of that and have the discounted gift card and the rewards.
And stay ahead of the monthly payment there. So it kind of buys you a little bit more time with that. And I looked at this and I was like, okay, I can either take my cash and prepay all my dues for a year, or I can come back into it and just pay down my DVC loan that I am paying interest on, and the dues don't charge interest. So setting that up on an auto draft, but then coming in and paying it monthly with a credit card via gift card sounds like the best way to win at this little strategy here.
Oh, absolutely. You're definitely trying. I mean, when you're just talking about like maximizing everything to the penny, I mean, if you're putting extra payments into your loan, then you're saving on your interest. And so by doing it, instead of paying the 5,000 in January, you're only going to have to pay, 5,000 divided by 12, 400 and whatever it is. And then you can put anything else extra from the 5,000 directly to your principal. So then you're saving on interest all year long. And then after that, you're just making sure that you're saying that I'm going to make sure that I stay ahead of my auto draft. It's pretty simple. Now, I personally always make sure that I at least go a dollar over. So if I owe 200, it's going to say that it's going to draft 200. I make sure that I pay 201. I've heard of people having problems that when they do it exactly to the penny, that it does still auto draft. It's never happened to me, but just to be a little safe, I just pay a little extra. And if you're wondering, like, where can you do this? When you come in to pay for your dues, it'll say on there, pay by contract. And that's what you want to do. You want to click pay by contract. When you come in and you click pay by contract, it'll tell you this contract is going to draft $67. If you have multiple contracts, they're each going to have a different amount. And so you have to come into each individual contract. Now you can do it in one transaction. So one's 67, the other one's 33, the other one's 100, and boom, it makes a full 200 payment. And you just have to type in your gift card one time for that month. But you do have to come in on
You got to divide it out by contract and make sure you pay a little bit over on each individual contract.
Right. Because if you did that first contract, you just did 200, well, it's going to make that one not draft. But
so
then
that contract will be ahead of the curve. It's not going to draft. Okay. So more pro tips for those of us with multiple contracts is you're going to have to pay by contract. Well, if you're wondering, because you never see a gift card option to pay by dues, you have to select add new card. And then when you do that, you get a window that the next thing you can click is Disney gift card. And you can start to apply it that way.
Yes, that's correct. And, it's also of note that in February, whenever you are making that first payment through via gift card, I guess it's kind of gift card via credit card, that if you were to pay double, so if you owed 200, but you got 400 in gift cards, it's going to kick it back 2 months. So you are already ahead that it's not going to draft in February. It's not going to draft in March. And you just have to make sure that you make your next dues payment before April. So however much you put in there, it's going to keep kicking that can down the road. And the goal is always to just make sure you're ahead. And,
yeah. Through this method, we can get our credit card points. We can pay our dues with a credit card by buying a gift card and stay ahead of it. It's a little bit more work this way, Caleb, but from what I'm seeing in the credit card space, when you're optimizing for point and miles and all that kind of fun stuff, this is one way to come back in and do this, is to stay ahead of the curve this way.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely more work if you were used to just doing the credit card, at the very beginning of the year, doing the credit card. But if you were already coming in and trying to consolidate and have all of your gift cards, it's really not any more work, that you're just putting it in as you get the gift card instead of hoarding them and holding on to them.
Yeah. Well, what I would do before is I would scrape up a little bit of cash, say, oh, okay, the gift card deal is on. I'll go buy a $500 gift card. And then instead of just putting it into DisneyGiftCard.com and like holding it in a virtual wallet kind of thing, I just prepay the dues negative, because they will take money from you at any given point in time.
Yes.
They'll let you go negative in your dues balance where you're overpaying it. And it sounds like you're kind of overpaying the monthly payment to stay ahead of it, to keep it from auto drafting.
I've done that one time, and I didn't want to do it again because I didn't actually pay a whole lot extra. I just had like one 500 card and I paid it. And I don't know if it was just that year, because this was, after Disney World reopened. So those 2021 dues, and it just seemed like on the statement itself, it said negative, positive. It was like 4 places where it was applying the gift card and then unapplying it and then applying it back. And it got really confusing on the accounting for me to just look at it and say, yep, there's where I paid. So, like I said, I don't know if that was just that year or what, but since then I don't pay extra.
Okay, Caleb, let's end the show here with a little bit of an ad read, Caleb. We're going to talk about DVC Resale Market, and I know you bought a contract through them. How was that experience for you?
Yeah, I mean, actually, I bought 2 contracts with them and I sold one. And it is super simple. I think that our listeners and someone like me, and at one point I was just a listener, that when I started researching DVC, this was one of the first places that had information that was current. And so by listening, I just was able to come in and I contacted Andy and was able to immediately be able to get a contract. It was incredibly easy. When he was explaining things, I knew exactly what he was talking about. And we got the contract and, had to wait through ROFR and things twice. I got one eaten, but otherwise it was very, very simple and streamlined. I think that pretty much any of your avid listeners are going to be able to work with DVC Resale, and their experience is going to be good and it's going to be quick because we're pretty informed.
Caleb, that's interesting because the feedback that I hear from them is they absolutely love doing business with our listeners because you guys have listened to enough shows and enough episodes and you understand the product. You listen to our monthly recap reports. You understand what's a good deal, what's not a good deal. When you call them, you're ready to do business, and they love hearing from you guys. So don't be afraid to reach out to our friends at dvcresalemarket.com. You tell them that you're coming from our platform here at My DVC Points. They're going to give you the A+ treatment because they know you've been listening to the show. You know what you're talking about, and you're going to be a phenomenal client for them, and they'll take great care of you. dvcresalemarket.com. If you are buying or selling, they'll take phenomenal care of you. Every single person there is a former Disney Direct guide, which means you can get that Disney level service without having to pay the Disney price tag. And the whole theme of this episode is how do I get more mouse for my money? And buying resale is a great way to do it. Thanks so much for joining us today, Caleb. Thanks as well to everybody over at World of DVC, DVC Resale Market, DVC Rental Store, and Monera Financial. Also, a huge shout out of thanks to our Patreons as well. Your guys' monthly support helps us do some really cool stuff, get some technology enhancements here to the studio, and just make everything go a lot better. If you've enjoyed this content, please hit that like button, the subscribe, follow, share, all of that as well. And hopefully in today's episode, you've learned something that'll help stretch your dollars a little bit farther and get you a little bit more mouse for your money.
Ladies and gentlemen, please watch your head and step as you exit, and take small children by the hand.
Aw, chill up, Dad. I'll come back. With DVC.
My DVC Points is an unofficial Disney-inspired podcast created by fans of Disney Vacation Club. The thoughts expressed in this podcast are personal opinions and personal experiences. My DVC Points is not affiliated with Disney Vacation Club, the Walt Disney Companies, or any subsidiaries. We encourage listeners to contact their DVC guide or member services for official DVC policies.